Amon just got buffed, and I swear it feels like I'm from Tulsa King. I don't even have to fight half the time. I just stand there and just watch my drones beat people up for me. It's like, new buffs, who this? Well, let me show you how ridiculous this actually is. Now, what's good, everyone? It's Word here, and today we are breaking down the new Amon build. Specifically with the drone one, they just went from a gimmick to one of the funniest and most cheap playstyles in Borderlands 4. If you like watching your little robo-goons weapon arsenal do all the dirty work for you where you just chill like a mob boss, well, this is the video for you. Now, but as always, if all you came for is the final build, here it is on screen right now. Have fun, leave a comment, let me know how you liked it, and sub on your way out. I really do appreciate it. Now, for the rest of you, let's get started with a quick disclaimer. This build is strong, very good for leveling, but it is not the greatest for bossing because it is not a one-shot build. Now, we all know how to do that, right? You pop amp, you load up your under barrel, and off you go. So the complication with these types of build is that getting to that instant 200% multiplier that you have with amp on tap is not as easy because it requires a lot of specialization points so that you can have the flow over effect like the I am gone and the honed mind and all that kind of things to actually work out. But without further ado, let's look at the specialization, talents, and some gearing options. So now that we're jumping into game, let's talk about first how the build works. So there is 3 different drones that you can summon. Axe, sword, hammer. Hammer, you get when you throw an 8. Sword, you get when you throw an X, and X you get when you use your ultimate, that being a snowball, storm surge, or conflagrant. These are the way to get them. So what we want to make sure is that they stay alive as long as possible, and then we actually buff them. And you can only get them if you spec into it, which means that out of the 49 points, 30 goes alone for the drones. Pretty much mandatory. Which is why we are deep in cybernetics. Now, also do keep in mind, and that's a small tidbit, is the drones summon where you are, not where you throw your axe, not when you throw your nade, which means that if you're chucking them down from downtown right away, they might run away to the left or to the right or behind you, not to the actual target that you're intending to kill. So you do need to get a little bit up close and personal to make sure that they don't get lost in the AI. Small side note, but it's good to know. So, since we have 30 points, so we only really have 19 points to spec into the other 3s, let's talk about what we're taking and why we're taking it. The first thing that I'm going for is Gathering Storm. That is flat elemental damage on a kill scale. I'm doing Specialization grind at the moment, so this gives me some good bang for my buck. You could take Higher Executioner. This boosts my crit hit damage, and crit hit is very, very strong. So the entire ecosystem of my damage gets boosted, and thereby the Forge drones are going to get boosted and all that kind of things. I do like Gathering Storm right now because that gives me an instant boost and it gives the drones an instant boost. I don't need to worry about anything else. Then, of course, 5 points into Pyre because we want to get the actual drone. And we want to get 2 of them, so we're still going for Twin Tempers. We don't need to worry about the duration. Stick around and we'll talk about it why. Now, the 4 points is going into Destruction Engine. That gives us Forge skill damage, which our drones are a Forge skill, and Detonation. Now, what is Detonation? So when you chuck an X, doesn't matter frost or fire, you prime an enemy. You can prime them 3 times, and then you can either kill them to detonate, or you can use your snowball, your storm surge, or your conflagrant to detonate them whenever. Obviously only every 30 seconds, right? Because it has a cooldown. So that's the way the detonation works. So it's a big boom that we're boosting. So that's it. After that, we're taking Tempered Ice for the hammer. We're taking Masterwork because all the Forge drones are going to get damage and duration. And we're taking Ordained Hammer so that the hammers are also dealing ordnance damage. Now, this is very important because they stack from skill damage, action skill damage, ordnance damage, melee damage, and also going to be stacking from things like my gun damage that is flown down from talents. So that is, the stronger you get and the higher level you get, the more insane these are going to be because these are all stacking buffs that is adding into the soup. And that soup is getting real thick right about now. So don't sleep on these kind of things. Having or dealing ordnance damage as well is very, very strong. Then on the other 3, we get the swords, similarly. We take Tempered Lightning so that we get the swords. We take escalation so that the drones gain movement speed and attack speed. This is very important because otherwise they are going to be very, very sluggish and they can easily be outrun by quickened enemies. And 3 points so that they can critically hit. The crit is the biggest multiplier that you can have in the entire game because it is all calculated after your formula as an additional multiplier. So having them crit is insane. 15% here. And similarly for 5 points, we pick up another 15% in Raging Inferno. That's already 30% chance that they're going to hit every time. And now what we do then is we spend the last 5 points on Blast Furnace because that means that whenever I crit or the Forge Drones crit, I get a damage buff and then they get boosted by my damage. So that's it, as simple as that. Now for the augments. There is 2 options. One is logical, one is wonderful. So look, Endless War is what you're supposed to take. Because the primed enemies take increased gun damage from you, up to 60% more gun damage. And every single time you detonate a primed enemy, you summon an extra Forge X that will seek out someone and starts wailing on them. But there's another one that I really like and I'm going to talk about. And that one is Searing Cold. This one, for doing missions, is low-key goated. The Frost X will freeze everything. It doesn't work on bosses, so this is not going to be good for bossing. But everything else in any outside of mission out of that will instantly freeze. So the biggest, baddest enemies will get frozen. You can chain freeze them. They cannot do shit. It is brutal how good it is. Don't sleep on that. Try it out. Have some fun with it. It doesn't take, look, it takes, boop, now you're using it. Simple as that. So don't sweat it. You can switch it back anytime. Now, let's talk about the specialization. So the specialization is fairly simple. We are taking obviously bear arms because they do melee damage, so our gun damage is going to benefit our melee damage. And then we're going to take I am gun, and we're going to take a honed mind. So the I am gun is again, they're an action skill, and your gun damage is going to benefit the action skill, so they get indirectly damage. A honed mind gives them an extra 5% crit chance, so we're up to 35% crit chance, just alone on that. And also increased crit hit damage. So that one is going to be incredibly good. And the last one is optional. So you can take something for defensive, for the damage reduction, which is what I'm doing at the moment. You can take something for offensive, either that, or either you this, or the best defense, or you could take something for now with caffeine. Now, a very important technical description. The way that the action skill cooldown reduction works for Amon is that it doesn't reduce your Conflagrant or your Snowball. It actually reduces the recharge rate of your axes. So say if you use this, then instead of when you're on 1 stack or 1 buff, you could have 2 right away on tap. The same way that it works with the Mega Triple Bypass. If you use it 3 times, if you don't have any, you can get up to at least 2 or 2.5. But it doesn't reduce the cooldown of your actual Snowball, Storm Surge, or Conflagrant. So it's very important to understand, which means if you're not spamming your axes away, or if you kill something and then you move on to the next one, this will lose its value. However, do bear in mind that this and triple bypass is going to work exactly like it does in every single other build, where you can instantly get your stacks back up and you can keep throwing your axes, which is strong. That's it. Now moving on to the gear. So that is a couple of things that you want to know, right? First of all, the blacksmith is the supposedly, or the class mod that you want to use. You want to get a good mix of things to have. I like the hammer focus on mine because I think hammers are going to be the strongest, but it doesn't really matter whatever you want to do. The splash damage could be better, so you can farm this. I haven't gotten a better one. It is what it is. But this is essentially what makes it so that your forge drones are infinite. Every single time you kill someone, you restore a portion of every single forge drone's duration. It is dope as hell. And obviously we got some increased gun damage, so that is always nice. For weapon, you use whatever you want to use. It doesn't make a freaking difference. For shield, you use whatever you want to use to survive. What I would recommend though is risky boots, 3 out of 3, which I should have, but I'm not lucky enough, and I'm gonna get on that today. Don't worry about that. But that one is gonna be an insane damage boost and some insane survivability. And real big fist because it is all melee. right? And we like melee. Easy as that. So yeah, that's the build. Now drones aren't just pets anymore, they're enforcers. You can just light up your metaphorical cigar and let the squad handle business. Now if you're running this build, drop a comment with how your goons are treating Kairos right now. And if you want more crazy build or buff breakdown, check out my Borderlands 4 playlist right here somewhere. Sub if you haven't already, because this is only the beginning. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.